Welcome to Star Watch Now, your front row seat to all the hottest gossip, drama, and breaking news from the world of entertainment. If it's trending, shocking, or star-studded, we're covering it. Stay tuned. You won't want to miss what's coming next. In a world where fame is carefully manufactured, three names stand out for all the wrong and the right reasons. Ruipeng, Tian Xuning, and Wong Iba. Three men who refused to play by the rules, yet became the very lifeblood of an industry that tried to tame them. They are called rebels, troublemakers, even uncontrollable cash cows. But behind the headlines lies something deeper. A story about freedom, resilience, and the cost of being real in a world built on illusion. Ruaping has always stood on the edge of the entertainment world, half inside its blinding lights, half outside in the shadows where truth still breathes. To some, he is reckless. To others, he is a rare spark of honesty in a business addicted to control. While most stars polish every word and pose for every frame, Ao moves in the opposite direction. He speaks without scripts, appears unshaven on camera, and dares to be imperfect in a culture obsessed with flawlessness. That is where his power lies. Every uneven breath, every unguarded glance tells a story that no publicist could ever invent. He is not performing rebellion for attention. He is living it as a philosophy. His words, "I am the worst of the worst," sound harsh until you realize they are a confession of humanity, not arrogance. In those words lives a man who has seen how easily fame can suffocate authenticity. Ao's defiance is not an act of anger but of survival. He refuses to surrender his voice to a system that measures worth in numbers and appearances. By breaking the illusion, he builds something far stronger: trust. Fans return to his live streams not because he dazzles them, but because he reminds them that sincerity can still exist within the glamour. There is a strange poetry in his chaos. When he sits before the camera, sometimes silent for minutes, it is as if the world pauses with him. His energy is wild but never cruel. His laughter is sharp yet strangely comforting. He makes imperfection feel beautiful again. And that, perhaps, is the essence of his rebellion. It is not the rebellion of destruction, but of honesty. An artist refusing to disguise the messy truth of being human. In an industry built on image, Ruaping offers something radical: the courage to be real. He may never fit into the perfect frame, but that is precisely why his presence lingers long after the screen goes dark. Tian Xuning has never been the loud kind of rebel. His defiance is quiet, patient, and profoundly human. Born in Shandong, where tradition is not merely taught but lived, he grew up surrounded by expectations that felt as heavy as the mountains of his homeland. A man should study, marry, and settle into a life of calm obedience. That was the rhythm prescribed to him. But Tian chose a different song. He walked away from comfort to chase the uncertainty of music, believing that the soul, too, deserves a chance to speak. People laughed when he sang. They said his voice was too rough, too deep, too animal to ever find harmony. Yet he never once allowed mockery to silence him. Day after day, he stood before the mirror, training a voice that had been dismissed as unworthy. There were no cameras then, no applause, only the lonely sound of a piano and his own determination echoing in the empty room. Over time, that so-called buffalo voice transformed into something raw and soulful, a sound that carried the weight of struggle and the warmth of truth. Tian never set out to be a star. He only wanted to be heard. And perhaps that is why his art resonates so deeply. His rebellion is not against authority but against resignation, the quiet death that comes when one stops dreaming. In interviews, he speaks with the composure of a scholar and the vulnerability of a poet. He admits that there were nights when he doubted himself, when the world's noise grew too loud. But every setback became part of his melody, every scar another note in his song. Now, when he performs, the audience feels not just music but meaning. He embodies the idea that grace and rebellion can coexist, that true strength is born not in defiance of others, but in loyalty to oneself. Tian Xuning's journey is a gentle revolution, a reminder that you can challenge the world without shouting, and that sometimes the bravest act is to keep walking toward your dream, even when the road is steep and silent. Wong Iba has always seemed to move through fame like a man walking through fog, calm, unreadable, and entirely his own. While others chase attention, he appears to flee from it, carrying a silence that speaks louder than applause. His rebellion is not marked by loud gestures or scandalous words, but by a rare kind of composure, the courage to remain still in a world that never stops shouting. At events where others shine under layers of makeup and designer suits, Iba arrives in a hoodie, barefaced, wearing the kind of quiet confidence that no stylist can manufacture. He is not trying to shock anyone. He is simply refusing to wear a mask. Inside the structured world of Lihua Entertainment, Iba has always stood apart. The rumors about contracts, control, and creative freedom are not just industry talk. They are reflections of a deeper tension between authenticity and ownership. He built his reputation through discipline, through the unspoken intensity of his craft, not through controversy or noise. Yet the same system that benefited from his success now trembles at his independence. For Wong Iba, being true to himself has always mattered more than being compliant. It is why he can perform with such precision on stage and still find solace racing motorcycles at terrifying speeds. The risk, the danger, these are not acts of thrill-seeking, but expressions of freedom. Every turn of the wheel, every daring leap reminds him that control only has meaning when one chooses it. There is something almost philosophical in his defiance. His rebellion lies in the small things. The decision to smile when he's misunderstood, to stay silent when provoked, to let his work speak when others gossip. To some, this restraint looks cold. To others, it is strength in its purest form. Iba's calm is not indifference, it is mastery. It is the discipline of a man who knows who he is and no longer needs to prove it. Beneath his quiet surface burns a will that cannot be bought, trained, or subdued. And that is why audiences around the world feel drawn to him. Not because he plays the role of a star, but because he reminds them that even within a world built on performance, there are still souls who live unscripted. Wong Iba is that rare soul, the untamed prince who chooses truth over perfection. What binds these three men is not their fame, but their philosophy. They remind us that rebellion is not destruction, it is creation. It is the courage to say, I am still human. In a digital world that punishes imperfection, Ao, Tian, and Iba have chosen truth over compliance. Their artistry may look like defiance, but it's really a kind of faith. Faith that authenticity can still move hearts in a world addicted to filters. Their choices challenge the very foundation of celebrity culture. Can you still be loved if you refuse to be perfect? Their answer is yes, and their fans around the world are living proof. Insiders say their attitude is changing the business itself. Studios are now searching for realness. Stories born from scars, not statistics. Advertisers seek faces that breathe, not just pose. Even young artists now quote Wong Iba and Tian Xuning as examples of strength and balance. This new wave is not about rebellion for rebellion's sake. It's about reclaiming humanity in an industry that often forgets it. The truth is simple. Capital may own the spotlight, but it cannot own the soul that stands in it.